After years of saving every penny, I finally did it. I bought my first home quiet, 2-story house in Vermont, tucked away between whispering pine trees and a whole lot of silence. It was old, sure, but it had this undeniable charm. The kind of place that felt like its walls were filled with stories just waiting to be told. On my very first night, I was like a kid on Christmas morning, exploring every single room. Living room, check. Kitchen, check. The 2 cozy bedrooms upstairs, and a small, dusty attic. Everything was exactly as the realtor had described it. It was perfect. But then, the next morning, something felt off. I woke up to a sound that made the hairs on my arms stand up, the distinct creak of a door. Thing is, it wasn't my door. I live alone. My heart was pounding in my chest as I followed the sound down the upstairs hallway. And there, at the very end, was a door I swear I had never seen before. It was small, wooden, and slightly ajar, almost inviting me in. Hesitantly, I pushed it open. The room inside was tiny and thick with the smell of dust and time. It was completely empty, except for a solitary, wooden rocking chair and a mirror on the wall. Its surface cracked like a spider web. I just stood there, blinking, my mind racing. This wasn't here yesterday. My first instinct was to call someone, anyone. I called my mom, me best friend, me the house. I asked each of them, do you remember a 3rd room upstairs? A little one at the end of the hall. The answer was always the same. No, I don't remember that. I pulled out the floor plans, scanned them over and over. Nothing. The home inspector's detailed report. Not a single mention. It was like the room had just appeared. That night, sleep was impossible. The silence of the house was broken by that same slow, rhythmic creaking from the new room, the rocking chair. Against my better judgment, I crept back to the room. The air was colder in there. At the cracked mirror, on T-Team was covered in a strange, silvery fog, like someone had just breathed on it. My hand was shaking as I reached out and wiped a small circle clean. My breath caught in my throat. In the reflection, a woman was standing right behind me. I spun around so fast I almost fell. There was no one there. The room was empty. I didn't even think. I just ran out, slammed the door shut, and leaned against it, trying to catch my breath. I told myself it was just my imagination, a trick of the light. But every night, it was the same story. I'd go to bed, and in the morning, the door would be open again. I tried everything. I nailed it shut with a hammer and a dozen nails. The next morning, it was wide open, the nails lying neatly on the floor. I pushed my heaviest dresser in front of it, a solid oak piece that took all my strength to move. When Premier woke up, the dresser against the wall, and the door would I stopped sleeping. The exhaustion was making me feel like I was losing my mind. Finally, I decided I needed proof. I set up a camera on a tripod, aimed directly at the mysterious door, and stayed up all night, watching the live feed on my laptop. For hours, nothing happened. Then, at exactly 3:12 a.m., the doorknob slowly turned. The door creaked open. The rocking chair inside began to move on its own, back and forth, and the mirror fogged over completely. I zoomed the camera in on the mirror's reflection. The woman was back. But this time was different. This time, I could see her face clearly. She was crying, silent tears streaming down her cheeks. I paused the video, staring at the frozen image. There was something about her, something hauntingly familiar. I ran downstairs and started digging through a box of old family photos. My hands trembled as I sifted through faded pictures of birthdays and holidays, and then I found it. A black and white portrait of my grandmother as a young woman, I looked from the photo to the screen and back again. The same sad eyes, the same delicate necklace. It was her. I immediately called my mom, my voice cracking. I told her everything: the room, the chair, the woman in the mirror who looked just like Grandma. There was a long silence on the other end of the phone. Then my mom's voice came back, barely a whisper. "Emma, that house. It belonged to your great-grandmother, your grandmother's mother. She passed away in that house, in that room. No one has lived there since she died." Suddenly, everything clicked into place. This wasn't a threat. It was a message. I hung up. Butitim wasn't afraid. I stood in the doorway, looked at the empty, rocking chair, and spoke into the silence. "I'm here," I said softly. "I'm your family." I'm listening. As the words left my lips, the fog on the mirror swirled and then cleared completely. And on the glass, written in the fading mist, were two simple words: "Thank you. The door has never opened on its own again." The house is finally quiet at night. But every morning, I still see the rocking chair swaying gently, as if someone just stood up from it. And now, I always leave that little door open just a crack. Because I know I'm not really alone here. Thanks for listening to my story. If you have any experiences with strange and unexplained things in your own home, I'd love to hear about them in the comments. And if you enjoyed this, please consider liking and subscribing for more stories. See you next time.